Somewhere on a frozen island north of Siberia, something is about to happen for the very last time. A mammoth lifts its trunk. It smells the wind. It has no idea it is the last one. No alarm sounds. No thunderclap marks the moment. The world just quietly moves on without it. And that is the strange part. You'd expect the end of a species to look dramatic. It doesn't. It looks like an ordinary Tuesday, 4,000 years ago. You probably picture mammoths dying out in one great catastrophe, cavemen with spears maybe, or an asteroid. But the real answer is far stranger. Mammoths didn't vanish in a single moment. They faded, in stages, over thousands of years, on a timeline that overlaps with the pyramids of Egypt. Think about that. While Egyptians were quarrying stone for Giza, a small herd of mammoths was still grazing on an island called Wrangel, cut off from the mainland, holding on. To understand how they disappeared, you have to go back further. Around 4 million years ago, the woolly mammoth's ancestors branched off from early elephants. Over time, they grew a thick undercoat, long guard hairs, and a hump of fat behind the head for energy storage. Their ears shrank to almost nothing to stop heat loss. Every part of them was built for cold. They were, in a very real sense, walking survival machines for the Ice Age. And for a long time, the plan worked. Mammoths spread across a vast ecosystem scientists call the Mammoth Steppe, a dry, grassy plain that stretched from Spain to Canada. Not tundra, not forest. Grassland, cold and open, full of protein-rich plants that could feed enormous herds. At its peak, this was one of the largest biomes on Earth. Millions of mammoths, alongside woolly rhinos and giant elk, lived across a landscape twice the size of the continental United States. Then, the climate turned. Around 12,000 years ago, the planet began warming out of the last ice age. The cold, dry steppe that mammoths depended on started breaking apart. Grasslands gave way to forests and wetlands. Forests don't feed mammoths. Trees replaced grass, and grass was everything. Researcher Adrian Lister, a paleobiologist at the Natural History Museum in London, has spent decades studying exactly this shift, and his work shows the mammoth steppe didn't just shrink, it fragmented into disconnected patches, isolating herds from each other. Isolation is quiet. It doesn't kill you today. It kills you slowly, over generations. At the same time, something else was spreading across that same landscape. Humans. Not in overwhelming numbers, but with something mammoths had never faced before. Coordinated hunting, thrown spears, and later, atlatls that could launch a dart with lethal force from a distance. A 2021 study led by researcher Damien Fordham modelled both climate shifts and human expansion together, and found the honest answer isn't climate did it or humans did it. It's both, tangled together. Warming shrank the habitat. Humans pressed on populations already struggling to survive. Neither alone might have finished the job. Together they did. Picture the pressure from a mammoth's side. Your world is shrinking. Your herd is smaller than your grandmother's herd. Food patches are farther apart. And now there's a new kind of predator, one that plans, one that waits, one that doesn't get tired the way a wolf does. You don't know any of this, of course. You just know that fewer calves survive each year, that the walk to the next grazing patch keeps getting longer. By around 10,000 years ago, mainland mammoth populations were mostly gone. But then something remarkable happened, one of the eeriest footnotes in the story. A small population survived on Wrangel Island, off the coast of Siberia, cut off from the mainland by rising sea levels. No humans there yet. No competition. Just mammoths, isolated, shrinking in body size over generations, a phenomenon called island dwarfism, and clinging on. They held out for 6,000 more years. Genetic research led by scientist Love Dahlan has sequenced DNA from these late Wrangel Island mammoths, and the results are almost tragic to read. Their genomes show mutations piling up, genes tied to smell, to sperm production, to insulin signaling, degrading. This wasn't a population thriving in isolation. This was a population slowly breaking down from the inside, the biological cost of too few individuals breeding with each other for too long. Scientists sometimes call it genomic meltdown. A species doesn't always die from an outside blow. Sometimes it erodes from within, quietly, while still walking around. And then, somewhere around 4,000 years ago, the last mammoth on Wrangel Island died. No one witnessed it. No one wrote it down. There was no human there to see it happen. The species that once dominated an entire hemisphere ended, most likely, with a single animal standing alone in the cold, its genome already failing it, its habitat already gone. Here's the part that should stay with you. Mammoths didn't lose to one dramatic event. They lost to a slow accumulation of small pressures, a warming world, a shrinking home, a new predator, a shrinking gene pool, each one survivable on its own, unbearable together. And that pattern isn't unique to the Ice Age. It's how most extinctions actually happen, quietly, gradually, invisibly, until the very last individual is already standing alone. So the next time you feel the slow accumulation of small pressures in your own life, one thing, then another, none of them catastrophic on their own, remember the mammoth on that frozen island. It wasn't one asteroid that ended them. It was everything, at once, quietly, and it happened on an ordinary Tuesday, when the wind smelled the same as it always had.